little background, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like this is the introduction to a workshop that we'll have a dozen or so coaches in there, and I have a blackboard or a grease board that I can write down some comments that they make, and just kind of an imagination thing right now. But I'll just start it. I want to welcome all you coaches to the Positive Coaches Workshop. My name is Don Montgomery. I've been coaching over 40 years. Most of them have been in the higher education. I was a college coach for 39 years, coaching both football and wrestling, but yet I did coach hot stove baseball, so I have a lot of experience with younger kids. Studying to be a trainer for this course, I've learned quite a bit. I wish I knew then what I know now about the positive effect that this can have on the younger generation. Although I never have been a negative coach, I can look back into this course forced me to really take a look at all the different things that I did over the last 39 years. And I would have done some things different, but most of the time I've been pretty positive, and you'll be able to see that when I share my mission statement. During this workshop, we'll discuss the PCA goal, and that is to change the culture of youth sports. The mission of the Positive Coaches Alliance is to transform youth sport so that it can transform the youth. And one of the things I really like about that statement is that as a high school coach or a college coach, we are receiving kids that come into our programs that are coached by you. And the statistics said that 70% of the kids that play sports when they're 10 years old are not playing by the time that they're 13. And one of the things that really tells me is something made them have a negative experience while the other people had a positive experience. Well, I really believe that in order to change this culture, I believe that Jim Thompson, who is the founder of the Positive Coaches Alliance in 1998 at the University of Stanford, has written a book called The Double Goal Coaching. And in order to change the culture, we feel that every coach has to be a double goal coach. And basically being a double goal coach means that although winning is very, very important, it's not important at the cost of developing youth character and to teach life lessons. So we have two goals: to win and to teach life lessons through our sport. And I can say that in my 39 years, I can't imagine the educational impact that playing a sport has done for all of the people that I've had the opportunity to work with. Secondly, is that every athlete that we work on and work with, we want them to become a triple impact competitor. Now, a triple impact competitor makes themselves better by their work habits, putting effort in, staying within the rules, honoring the game, makes his team better by being a better teammate and not ever embarrassing a team member, but keeping the goals and the team's concepts in front of them, and it makes the game better by honoring the game, the officials. We have a term for that I'll discuss a little bit later called roots, and basically the term roots stands for respect for rules, officials, your opponents, your teammates, and yourself. And then the last part, in order to change, is we want to get the parents to be second goal parents. Now, to be a second goal parent, that means that they want to let the coaches focus on the athletes and the scoreboard while the parents focus on character development and life-changing opportunities. The start of this workshop, I want to encourage you to interact with me, and I encourage you to ask questions at any time. I would like everybody in the room here to introduce themselves and to say what coach that they support or that what sport that they coach, and then also I want you to, tell me how long you've been in that sport. And at this point, I would go around the room, kind of like what you do on your hangout. And then now that we're all acquainted, I'd like to talk about some character traits that you find very, very positive and that you've been able to experience as a player or as a coach. And I'd like to write them down on the board. And I would have each one of the guys go through and write down the positive traits. And then I do the same thing with the undesirable traits. And at this point in time, I talk about our, a little bit about positivity, and I'm going to give them their first assignment at this point. And their first assignment would be to write a mission statement. I believe that a mission statement describes what you want your team to look like. And it defines and it shapes your culture. And it states what you want to accomplish through your program. And I do believe that if your mission statement doesn't change from now to the end of this workshop, I haven't done my job. So I know that mine did, and after coaching for 39 years or 40 years, I know that yours will too. And then what I would do, Kelly, is I would show them a copy of the mission statement that I had as a coach and go over it with them, just to give them an idea about what a mission statement looks like. One of the things that I really want to get across to the coaches is that society has changed a great deal. It's much harder to be a coach now than it was in the 80s and the 90s, where kids didn't have so many distractions, and parents are getting more involved in trying to tell the coach what to do. And I think it's really important for coaches to have a strategy on how to deal with parents. The co-coaches, everybody has their own idea, so the more people you have involved, the more imperative it is that they buy into your mission and they buy into the double coaching philosophy, the double goal coaching philosophy. And then it's really hard these days to get a handle on the kids because a lot of them have different interests, and so we've got to keep their energy corralled. At the same time, teaching them humility when they're very, very successful, and making sure that they have hope whenever when they're maybe not as successful on the scoreboard, because a lot of those people play sports because they feel like winning is the most important thing, but we know that it's not. We hope that we're teaching kids respect through our use of our roots concept, and focusing on positivity by educating them on the terms of an emotional tank. If you can envision a gas tank and the tank on full and you're starting out for a trip, you're in good shape. But if you're starting out for a trip and it's on empty, you're not going to go anywhere. So it's really important to have to fill people's emotional tank on your team, your coaches, your parents. It gets very, very positive results. It gives people more energy. They acquire new skills. They stick with it longer, and it's just more fun. And when you turn around and you look at what happens negatively, negativity poisons the atmosphere. It's poisonous. It's detrimental. It turns people away. It disrupts teams. So right now, the three ways that I see it in transforming youth sports is, number one, get rid of the win-at-all-costs attitude and replace it with what I call the elm tree of mastery, which we'll talk about in a little while. ELM is an acronym for effort, learning, and making sure that you learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are okay. And secondly is to create a term or norm for honoring the game. Thirdly is to spark a social academic of positive coaching. I feel like whenever that is established, that there is a culture for learning, a teachable spirit, teachable lessons, and whenever people are open to that, you can make the biggest impact on their lives. Thank you very much.
All right.
Do you have any questions?
I do. I just have some comments. Oh, there's my timer. Hold on one sec. Let me reset this so it doesn't go off while we're talking. All right. Your timing was impeccable. Exactly 10 minutes. That was wonderful. Don, I am really impressed by the effort and your whole the whole explanation of the concept. It's really, really cool to hear somebody that has been coaching for as many years as you have and to believe in this so deeply, but also be able to admit, I wish I had known this then. I think that's really powerful at the beginning of a workshop. I have nothing that stood out to me at all that made me say, whoa, like no red flags. I think it was incredible. What I'm gonna point through some of the things I loved, and then I have actually two comments. The workshop introduction, the series of 20 slides or whatever it is, I think you hit on pretty much every one of those slides. What I'd like to see is how would you be able to fit your story in with the slides going along with you. You could do it because I have the slideshow right in front of me, and as you were hitting all those points, about negativity, about changing a culture, about, you hit every one of them. What I don't want to see is that the slides on the PowerPoint would distract you from what you're doing, and what you're doing is not going to distract people from the slides. So I think putting those together, using the slides to support you, but not reading from that, because what you just said was really strong. So I think that's going to be sort of a challenge that I'd like to give you, is how to work in your story. I like the way you're conversational, and I like the way you didn't have the slides right in front of you. But I think for consistency of workshops, I'd like to see how you do that. Now,
Okay.
That being said, you just gave an awesome intro to a leadership workshop. What we do leadership workshops for athletic directors, board members. You just nailed the intro to a leadership workshop, and Jack sells a leadership workshop, so I'm sure he can say, you nailed it. I mean, I'm doing a leadership workshop tonight, and I'm sitting there thinking, Jack just did the perfect intro to a leadership workshop. So I don't want to tell you what you did was wrong in any way, because it wasn't. It was very, very good. The idea of the leadership workshop is to change the way the whole organization culture is shaped. Give them the vision, which you did by talking about the social epidemic of positive coaching, the win at all costs versus life lessons attitude. You introduced a little bit of the athlete workshop. You introduced what we do with coaches. You introduced a little bit of parents. That is the identical intro to the leadership workshop, which I'm excited because I think you'd be fantastic for.
Thank you.
That's my comment right now. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong, because what you did was fantastic for a different workshop. For this workshop of just for the coaches, I think you would have to bring it a little bit simpler and align it a little bit closer with the PowerPoint. Does that make sense?
Sure. As I said, I didn't have that PowerPoint to reference. I've pretty much used the book for everything.
Yeah.
But now that I do, for my next presentation, when I do one of the other 4 areas or the 3 areas for my, I guess it's a 20-minute one the next time.
Yes.
Well, I'll do better by following the PowerPoint, and because each one of those pages, when I was looking through it, has a story to it.
Yeah. It does.
And I am very, very interested in the leadership role. Very interested.
I'm very excited about you doing. I mean, Jack, I don't know if you have any comments before I continue.
No, I almost had that same thought as we're going through. I was like, this is a leadership workshop. Here it is, because you defined all these roles and mindsets so well that I think it was captivating.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Jack.
Yeah. And it's interesting. We have a trainer down in Tampa named Mark Newman. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he coached the New York Yankees for 30 years, and he is now specializing in leadership workshops in Tampa. He's funny. He's just like, I don't really want to talk to Little League coaches. I don't really want to talk to athletes. I'm not saying that's you, but his expertise is with the leaders, and he's very good at it. And I can see you just really excelling in that role because you've lived it, and you see the overall concept, and you have a really good handle on how everyone fits in.
Right.
So I think that's great.
You know,
Go ahead.
one of my life's goals now that I've been out of coaching is to coach coaches.
Yeah.
And I really like that because I think that's the place where we have to start, because they're the ones that are making the impacts, whether it's a young kid or a college kid. You know, everybody responds to positivity. And but I really thank you for those comments, and I look forward to the next opportunity.
Yeah.
And Jack, good luck to you, partner.
Thank you, John.
For your time.
My one comment, though, that I do want to be on the record for saying, I would rather listen to you do a workshop in a conversational tone than click and read everything on the slide. So I think, Don, you have a gift to be able to do that. And if you can talk with as much conviction and conversation as you just did, with the slides kind of behind, if you got to know the material well enough that the slides were just kind of behind you, supporting what you were saying, and I mean, there's some really good trainers that you click through and you don't even realize, like, the slide behind them is saying exactly what they're saying, and they don't even turn around and look at it once. So I think you can get to that point where you're having a conversation with us based on your passion. The slides are just supporting you behind you.
Right.
I don't want the slides to detract from what you're doing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
All right,
Yeah,
thank
I think
you.
it'll only help, Don, because people are going to learn by reading that. They're going to hear you. They're going to hear your story. There's going to be all sorts of things going on to make that just super effective.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you do 20 minutes. All right, Jack, now did you want to see the PowerPoint, Jack, for me, or are you okay?
If you want to have it, I mean, I got it pulled up here on my computer, so I'm fine to do it if you guys.
I don't need to see it. It's more for your sake.
That's fine. That's great.
All right. Well, you've got a captivated audience of 2.
Perfect. Perfect. You ready for it, Kelly?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Before we start, everybody, I want to pull out your smartphones. This is the last time we want to see these today. Hopefully, you guys all have them in front of you. And I want you to text to sign in. It's a new thing we have here. It's paperless, so we make things very easy at PCA for you guys to sign in for today's workshop. And it's not going to be something where we're going to send you emails and send you spam, but it's going to give you credit that you've been here today. You're going to be part of our National Coaches Directory as a Positive Coaching Alliance coach. And as well, with your email, we're going to give you a Talking Points email series. This is a once-a-week tip of the week for you as a coach as you go through this season. For me, this is a ton of info we're going to throw at you guys today. And it's easy if it's digested week by week and something you can implement. So text hashtag the number that we're going to have associated today to 650-763-2405, and then hit return, get your first name, your last name, and then give us your email, just kind of like the picture we see here up on the slide. So I want to go around and give you all a minute to do this. And the first one, throw your phone up in the air. Here we go. You got it. Good, Kelly. Thank you. Don, looks like you got it too. Good. I'm seeing them come in. You guys are ready to go. Cool. So you'll see it's called a workshop. Why is it called a workshop? It's not called the sit down. It's not called the hangout. It's not called the relax time. This is something I want you guys to be involved. This is something for you to engage with. Let's make it the most effective 2 hours we can. You guys are going to walk out of here better coaches, because you're going to have tools and tips and mindsets that are going to really hope to transform the way youth sports is delivered here in your town. Double Go Coach. Has anybody been to a Double Go Coach workshop before? Kelly, you have. That's fantastic. That's great. I'm glad we got one. When I was starting as a coach, I was wondering what they handed me literally they handed me a bag of golf clubs and a range bucket of balls, and they said, hey, good luck with the season. Hope it works out well. Not the easiest way to start, and it was always, I was wondering, how do I coach? What am I supposed to do? Who do I talk to? What do I use to motivate these athletes? And until I found PCA, I was kind of just in the wind, hoping for the best. This Double Go Coach workshop is functional tools, things you guys can use every day with your athletes, to hopefully make them better athletes, but also better people. And that's the goal. That's what PCA is here for. We've been around for 17 years. We've trained over 80,000 coaches, almost 3 million kids, 2,500 live workshops last year, and we've had 1 million hits on our website, the PCA Development Zone. Incredible numbers, right? Terrific numbers. We're so excited about these numbers. But 40 million kids play sports every single year. So we're just scratching the surface. There's a long way to go. And our goal is that we get all of these kids to have a double goal coach. What is a double goal coach? Well, before we get there, let's talk about what is positive coaching. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you as a coach? So I want you all to sit for 1 second and think of it. Think of a couple words. What does it mean to be a positive coach? A minute. Don, what do you think? Positive coaching, what does that mean to you?
Means breeding a lot of positive feelings through the interaction that you have with your athletes and creating an environment for learning, effort, and encouragement.
I like what you said. Earn, effort, and learning. That sounds like something familiar we're going to talk about. Kelly, anything from you?
I think it's just a coach that can encourage the players in a way that makes them motivated to play harder.
Exactly. Positive coaching, what does that mean? It doesn't mean, some people get hung up and they think, hey, this is the sportsmanship crew. They're here to give trophies. They're here to make people happy. Everybody's going to get a playing time. To a point, we want to make sure we're creating an atmosphere that supports best possible. And that doesn't mean everybody gets a trophy. We're competitive. We want to win. You play to win the game is what Herm Edwards on our National Advisory Board says. It's something that's rooted in every athletic event. We're competing against somebody, and there's value there. But how do we do that, and how do we create an atmosphere that supports the best possible performance? And there's really a lot of, we found, there's research in academics, there's sports psychology, and the best coaches that are all saying positive coaching is the way we should do this. So the power of positive. Dr. Barbara Fredrickson has said there's a perception that the best way to get out of what you want of your employees or players is by negativity or threats.
Lost my video, or lost my sound.
You can't hear us?
Well, I'll keep going, and hopefully, Todd, you can hear what's going on. But negativity doesn't work as good as positivity. Positive emotions, though, are especially contagious, and a leader's positive emotions will go through more than anybody else's. So what does that mean, folks? It means positivity is what's going to work better than yelling at your players or giving them a negative approach or putting them down or trying to force them to do something. Spin it from the other side, and Dr. Barbara Fredrickson said there's an upward spiral, not a downward spiral, but one that can go up, and we can really get this positive momentum going on a team to create that best possible performance. That's what's going to be effective. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you become a more positive coach? Elite coaches, Phil Jackson. You guys all know Phil Jackson, right? Yeah? Okay. I'm sure you do. He's on our national board. He's our national spokesperson. I'll just read this quote here for you guys quick. But positive coaching became an influence in my life. The 5-to-1 ratio, 5 praises to 1 critique. And of course, we know the rest is history. Phil Jackson, if you guys open your books, this is the first time I'm going to have you open this great book in front of you. And this is the opportunity. I want this book to become dog-eared. I want to see the covers bent. I want to see them highlighted. This is your book. This is your coaching manual for the year. Such a helpful tool to walk away with something that has scenarios, tips, and tools. Everything that we talked about is in here and tons more. But on page 2, you'll see the foreword by Phil where he talks about how this helped him win so many championships. So you can see it's not only going to help you develop better relationships with your players, but it's also going to help you win. There's a dual approach here, and that's double goal coaching in a nutshell. Other elite coaches, you guys see this board up here in front of you. Who else? Do you guys recognize any of these folks?
I see Brad Stevens and Steve Young.
Brad Stevens, Steve Young, Steve Kerr, Julie Foudy. The list goes on. These are the best coaches out there. Steve Kerr is in the NBA Finals right now, guys. We know he's doing things a certain way that's certainly working. so we can see the best coaches. We have academic research, and we have sports psychologists, Charlie Marr and Ken Revisa. What does negativity do, and what have they found to be so helpful? Or what does negativity do to players? What's the most important play? What's the next play, Don, that is, or what's the most important play that's coming up?
Next play.
The next play, right? We always hear, hey, move on, shake it off, let's go, do the next play. Negativity distracts you from that next task. If you're stuck in the past, how do you focus on the present? And that's what we found. With these three approaches, we have all these people saying, hey, positivity, that's the way to do things. So, do you guys agree? Positivity works better than negativity.
Yes.
You do? I got universal agreement. Everybody here agrees. This is the way that we'd hope all coaches and all teams work. So my question to you, and I'm going to ask you all to get up, stand up, and let's see how many coaches here have coached for more than 5 years? You guys, both of you. All right, you guys go to this side of the room. Anybody more than 5 years or more than 10 years? More? Okay, sure. We'll split them up. Let's all break up around the room, kind of in a half moon here. I want you to turn to the partner, somebody next to you haven't talked to before. Why is there so much negativity in youth sports? If positivity is the way we do things, and that's what works the best, why is it so negative? Let's all talk. Anybody? Kelly, what do you think? Why is there so much negativity in youth sports?
I think there's just a lot of pressure on coaches and athletes these days. They're feeling a lot of pressure from parents to perform. And when they're under the stress to perform and things aren't going their way, they're going to be emotional. They're going to get angry. So it goes against what they think should be doing, the kids should be doing out there, and the scoreboard should be doing, so they get frustrated. And that's how they lash out.
I think that, we in the Positive Coaches Alliance want to hear 5 positive comments to 1 negative one. But if you watch the news at night, it might be 1 positive comment to 15 negative ones. So I think media really has a lot to do with it. And I think it's important that we as coaches, we have a chance to change that by how we deal with our athletes. But it's really easy to be negative about things, and it takes a great deal more energy to be positive.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
Great job, Jack.
Good chunk of that. That's about halfway through, which is pretty much where you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought you did. I thought you did a nice job with that. Was that the first time you actually ever did it?
I think so.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
We had a trainer day this weekend, so I practiced there too.
There you go. There you go. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Did you get to do it in front of the group that was there?
No, we were too busy, but I got to see it, how many times.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Don, do you want to give some feedback to Jack? If you were in his audience, how would you feel about that?
I'd feel really good because he engaged me.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his analogies, the use of statistics to show the importance and the need for positivity. Mm-hmm. And I just thought he did a great job. He connected with me the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Jack, I think your energy's great. I think, you had a great smile, and you put me at ease as your audience. I thought you did a nice job with that. I really liked right off the bat. I mean, just simply, they handed me a golf club and a thing of balls and said, Coach, that's so realistic for so many people, especially at youth coaching, youth coaches that are just parent volunteers. A lot of times they get no experience. So that was a really great way to kind of bring me in and think, you're right. I haven't really been given a lot of coaching. So I thought that was really great. I love it when you bring up, we're not here to hand out the trophies. I think that's a really strong aha, because a lot of people that come in with a chip on their shoulder are like, okay, man, these people are serious about competition, which is great. One hesitation, I always say, whenever you mention somebody famous like Phil Jackson, don't assume everyone knows who he is. So, you can say, oh, you guys know Phil Jackson. He was the blah, 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 winningest NBA coach, ESPN Coach of the Year multiple times, coached the LA Lakers, now is, owning the whatever you want to say. Always, whenever you name drop, always assume that there's somebody in the room that has no idea who you're talking about. So I always just say give a little blurb, because I'm usually the one that has no idea who you're talking about. So I really appreciate that. I know most people now, but for a while people are name dropping, and I was like, I don't know who that is. I don't know what team it is. Especially because it's local. Know your local people. But I'm from Philadelphia. I kind of knew who Phil Jackson was, but it's important just to say who they are. especially to give credibility, because if somebody has no clue, they're like, who's this Phil Jackson guy? So I thought that was great. You did a great sell on the book, which I figured you would. Coaching manual, I thought that was great. Steve Kerr, anything current that you can name. You know, Steve Kerr in the NBA Finals right now, he must be doing something right. Like, that's huge. I say anytime you can get anything out of the news or anything that's just happening, bring it into your workshops all the time. The only other feedback I would give you is be really careful when you give directions to a big group. You said, you know, who's been coaching? Everybody stand up. Who's been coaching for 5 years? Okay, you over here, 10 years. I mean, I know you were doing it for us.
Right.
But whenever you're in a workshop and you have a big group of people, if you want them to stand in a certain spot, I always say give directions like they were in first grade, even for adults. Because you have to be as clear as possible, or else, you know, adults kind of mill around and they're not paying attention, and then they get in a blob and they go, now, what did he want me to do? Like, explain that again? So, you know, I am literally as clear as I am with elementary kids. And I always, I mean, I can use the joke, like, I was an elementary teacher for many years, so pardon my, you know, clear, but it's really helpful, because adults don't listen any better than kids do most of the time.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's great.
And the other thing too, and this is something that you don't know yet, but this workshop, this new revision, isn't going to be launched till July. And one of the things that we're considering doing after we've seen it over and over and over again is actually stopping the buzz around negativity. We just feel like if we're here to promote positivity, having people get into groups and buzz about why do you think there's so much negativity in sports is not as valuable as another buzz question that's a little bit more important. The intro is pretty long as it is. So just to let you know, I think it's a good question to talk about. Like, think about, why is there so much negativity? Like, a real quick question, but if I call it an exercise, when you get people up to talk and discuss something, we'd like something to be a little bit deeper than just why is there so much negativity in sports. We would like a buzz around what is the benefit of positivity.
Yeah.
Or when have you seen the best benefit of positivity, or, you know, something like that instead.
Right.
But as I said, that's not something you would know right now, but we're considering actually taking out that slide that has the question, why is there so much negativity in sports? Because it's just,
I see
well,
that.
the question around negativity isn't really a great use of.
Right. Like, I see, like, 30 seconds, why is there negative? All right, don't talk about, you know, positive.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, because some people have let that go for like a 3 or 4 minute discussion, and we're like, well, that's not what we want people talking about. It turns into a venting session, and we already know there's negativity in sports. So,
Yeah, that's good.
do better. But I thought you did a great job.
Great.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
next week, I'd love for both of you guys to do a different part instead of just doing the intro again, or the you know, I would love to see you do one of the principles, just to give yourself an opportunity to do more.
Yeah.
So that would be great. Don, if you have any trouble opening up the PowerPoint, let me know.
Okay, I opened it up right before I did this, so I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Nothing.
So
Okay.
20 minutes, kind of 2 sections, like tanking down, boom, boom, kind of right.
Actually, 20 minutes will probably only give you enough time for one.
Sure.
Because what I'm going to ask you to do is your brief, just your personal brief intro, like, why are you here? I call it the why are you here. You know, you don't have to go into, I've been coaching for, you know, it's not your resume, but for the sake of what would you say right after a partner introduces you in a workshop so that the audience can connect to you?
Yeah.
So, you know, for you to get up there and just say, okay, my name's Jack, this is PCA, blah, 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 the audience is like, well, who is this guy and why is he here? So I usually say for the 20-minute intro, spend the first couple, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, just give us your personal, why are you here? Why is this passionate for you? You know, like Don said, I've been coaching for 40 years. I wish I had known about this stuff before. Like, something that simple is something to make the audience go, wow, I should listen to this guy. So that's what I'm going to, a lot of trainers, when they first start off, they say the hardest part of the workshop is the first 2 minutes. As soon as the partner introduces you and you're like, all right, what do I say? So that's what we're going to ask you to do. And then, you know, I want you to show, as you said, like an activity. What would you do? How would you get us discussing? Would you have a stand up, sit down, thumbs up, whatever we're going to do? We want you to put that into the 20-minute final demo, because we want to see how you're going to engage the audience. So you probably need the whole 20.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Did you have any questions about that, Don?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, you two. I appreciate you going first. And if you want to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link to this one so that you can go back and watch anybody's that has gone through on that same spreadsheet. So if you guys are, you know, have all this spare time on your hands and want to go back and watch it, you're welcome to.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Kelly.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Jack. Bye.
Yep, thanks, Don.